Hey good people, how you doing? David Taub here, nextlevelguitar.com. A little trick on how to really spice up your minor pentatonic and blues scales. You know, minor pentatonic is probably the most common scale used across most genres of music. And everybody plays in it. It's a great scale. You certainly don't want to limit yourself just to that, but you want to learn other scales, right? And other modes. But as long as you're using it, you might as well try to, get as much as you can out of it. So what I'm talking about is, like if we're going to be playing today in the key of B, and if I play that basic B minor pentatonic box position at the 7th fret, low E string is my B note, and just play that box that everybody knows. A great note to add to that scale, and lots of guys do this, and I've talked about this in some previous lessons, is to add the 9th. The 9th note is that, in this instance, that's C sharp. And where that note is it's on the 9th fret. It just so happens to be 9th fret here on the high E string. And that note then gives you this half-step interval, which you don't have before. Now, minor pentatonic, remember, all those notes, the intervals or distance between notes, are either a whole step or a minor third. 3 frets, like you have 3 frets here, then you have a whole step, right? You don't have any half steps. It's all 2 notes per string. Where when you add this 9th, you're adding this note, which gives you now a half a step. And that's a great note to add. Now, a lot of people will add it here on the high E string, in this instance the C sharp at the 9th fret, but there's another C sharp right there, and that's at the 6th fret of the G string. Same note, the C sharp, but that note there gives you different, kind of riff ideas, so you want to add that in too, and it's a really, really cool note to add. You hear that half step now. And a good way also of knowing that note, if you go from wherever that is a whole step back, you're on your root note. There's my B note. So if I climb up, you can hear that half step really adds something that wasn't in the scale before, because it was all whole steps or minor thirds. But now you have this really pretty. Right? And that note works. It's also in the Aeolian mode and in the Dorian mode, so pretty much over any minor chord or pretty much most minor key progressions, you can play that. Whenever you're playing your minor pentatonic scale, you can add that note in there, and it works really well. And I want you to add it in on the low E string and also on the G string when you're playing this basic box shape. And obviously you want to learn all your scales over the whole neck, not just one shape. I'm just showing you that in this shape just to get you a springboard. 7th fret low E string. Here's that minor pentatonic scale starting on that B note. And you can make that the blues scale too if you add in that flat 5 or that F note. You could add it in here and here. So you get this. But the note I really want you to add in is this 9, right? Which is at the 9th fret, that's C sharp on the high E. And then also, you could add in the one at the 6th fret on the G string. Remember, we're in the key of B minor. We're going to be playing over a jam track in a little bit. So here's some cool licks that you could play, because now you have 3 notes per string. So I like bending that 9th up to that. Remember, that's your next note in the scale. That flat third, so you get that. So you're bending it half step. So bend it up, let it down, and then a hammer from the 7th fret to the 9th and pull off. That's a really nice lick. Or you could also add that in with the pinky. Again, you get that nice half step. Now I'm going from the D note, the 10th fret. 10, 9, 7, 9, 7, pull off, hammer and pull off. Also, It's a nice pull-off lick, very much Santana-esque when you got 10, 9, 7 on a pull-off. But I really like this one here on the G string, on that 6th fret. That's a really cool, nice lick where I'm just hammering from the 6th to the 7th and pulling off. Then I'm taking the 7th fret on my D string and sliding it to the 9th, which is the root. So you get that nice resolution to that B note. That time I stop. So you just kind of vary your licks a little bit. Another nice lick is doing, again with hammers and pulls. So now I'm using this 9th for this half step movement. Hammering from on the G string, this is all on the G string, from the 6th, 7th to the 9th, and then pulling off 7th, 6th. It's only one pick. And then back on the D string, sliding from that 7th to the 9th to the root. So do the first lick, and then the second lick. You can kind of mix them up. Another lick you'll hear me play a lot is using this, like, you know, that climbing up on one string with a half step, which you didn't have before. So here's our, now remember, whenever you're on that 9th, a whole step back is the root note. That's our B note. Always know your root notes. Nice licks is just kind of climbing where I'm playing like, so I'm doing, I'm on that, now the B note, 4th fret on the G string. So I'm hitting it twice, and then the 3rd time I'm hammering it to the 9th to the 6th fret. And then doing the same thing from the 6th to the 7th fret. Except this time I'm sliding it. And then the same thing again to the next note, to the 9th fret. So you get this movement. And since we have this other, the note below the B, we have the A. So you could take that note too and make it even longer. Now you're kind of fluidly moving over the neck. And the chords I'm going to play in this jam track, so lay this down. A B minor 7th to an E minor chord. It's in the key of B minor, it's just a 1 minor to a 4 minor. So that's the progression. So you could do B minor, pentatonic, and blues all day long over all the chords. Or you can play, you know, B Aeolian mode, B natural minor over all the chords, or you can play over each chord independently. And but I want to do I'm going to show you how this is going to sound, and check out how I'm going to keep going to that 9th on both. I'll stay in this Bach position. I'll go a little bit, and you'll hear me doing the same thing over the E minor chord. I'll just play an E minor pentatonic and blues. But you're going to hear that. You'll hear that 9th and resolving that to the root, and you'll hear some of those licks I just showed you. give some of those licks a try and add that ninth into your pentatonic scale. Minor pentatonic uses as a springboard, and find those notes across the entire fretboard. Learn all your scales over the whole fretboard, not just in one position. You know, be sure to go to our website, nextlevelguitar.com. We have over 850 lessons and growing. Soon it'll be over 950. We add content, new content every month. Video lessons, written lessons, jam track that's absolutely packed. Beginners, intermediates, advanced. It's a full-on guitar curriculum